How's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to make a super easy animated text using Vegas Pro. I'm pretty sure this will work with any version of Vegas, but we're using Vegas Pro 15. And as always, we want to thank YouTube for bringing you this video ad-free, so there's no distracting ads to worry about. And thank you, YouTube, for making that possible. Okay, so this is what we're going to try to create right here. And it holds and then it goes away. So it gives the appearance of an animated text. So to start, here's how we go. We go into Media Generator and we're going to go to Legacy Text. And we're just going to grab this first one and pull it onto the timeline. And we're going to need to resize our text, so we're going to put it about probably 48 would be good. What are we going to say here? Oops, I don't want to do that. 48. I want to just make up a name, so I'm just going to say Industry Studios, and let's make it legal, LLC. And now we got a lot of fonts to choose from, so let's not just go with Arial. I would encourage you to look at all these fonts. I mean, you don't just have to go with whatever the default is. Impact looks pretty good. Now let's see how we look. That looks okay. Now I want to say that inside of here, there's a lot of additional things you can do. So I encourage you to play around in here. So let's just play around a little bit here. So for properties, we can change the color of the font, and let's do that. Let's make it a yellow. But see that little triangle? That's showing us that we're out of compliance for broadcast standards, so we'll pull that down a little bit. So we'll make our font yellow, which actually is a very, against black, really stands out. You can also do a stroke outline around the lettering. So for that, let's try red. And there we go, we'll make it red. And the width, let's just do that. That looks about right. Now what's really cool is you can actually change the shape so it's not just straight and boring. And curved bottom looks pretty cool to me, but let me see, maybe there's something else here we could use. I don't know, let's just stay with curved bottom. And I can, with that slider, I can bend it a little bit. So play around with these settings. I mean, there is so many options in there. You could literally be here for hours and hours and hours and hours, but that's good enough for now. So we got our font, our title, and we're almost ready to go. So we're going to add a video track. We're going to push that back up on top. And now we're going to go get a background image because black is kind of boring. I already have that, and I'm going to drag it onto the timeline. And we're going to stretch it out to match our title. Now notice it doesn't fit. It's pillar boxing. So we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is you come up in here into pan and crop and simply pick 16 by 19, and that fills it in perfectly. So we're getting there. So now all we really got, oh yeah, what we should do is drop the opacity down so that the font pops a little bit more from the screen. We don't want people distracted by our awesome background there. And next what we're going to do, this is the main effect really, we go into gradient wipe and we're going to choose linear left to right. And so we just click and drag that down to our text, and you got to just wait till you see that little plus sign. Sometimes it's a little tricky. And there it is. Now, here's the cool part. Here it goes. Basically, this is our effect, right? The only issue you might have is with regard to the speed. And maybe that's too fast for you. For some, maybe that's just perfect. But what you can do if you want to slow it down is just hit Control and do the time stretch. And that way you can slow it down a little bit and slow it down to your liking. And then you need to decide how long you want the text to stay on the screen. I mean, maybe not for too long, maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. So you just split it where you want it to, for how long you want it to stay on there. Like that's 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good enough. But you can trim the clip and slow it down to get it to where you like it. And once you're done with that, let's just trim this down. Actually, I don't need it. I split that, so actually you can just get rid of it that way. So now we basically have our effect going from left to right. So now what we're going to do, if we want it to go backwards, what we're going to do is we're going to need to render it out. So we're going to go into our render settings, and we want to pick the highest quality possible, and that's going to be your Sony XAVC and oh wait, let me check one thing. Let's click on properties, and we got 30 frames per second basically. So now let me go back in to the render settings, render as, and because we want to match the frame rate. There we go. So we want this XAV Intra 1920 by 1080, 29.97 progressive frames. But it's good. That's the highest quality you'll have. You can't view this file, you can only edit it. So it's really just a wrapper, but it does a nice job of holding your video and not really degrading it. So now that's rendered out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and import that clip we just did. It seems kind of weird to have to do this, but it's the only way I know of that we're going to be able to reverse it. So we drag it on the timeline. We can say yes to this. So now basically we got two copies of the same clip, but we want to right click and then do reverse. So now if we play it, it holds, but now it should play in reverse. So what we want to do here is find the exact point at which it starts going in reverse. So I'm just looking at the end of the title here. I almost right about there. So what we're going to do is just trim it down, or you can split it to that point and just join it to this clip. And now we've got our whole effect. The only question is really of timing. If you want the lettering to hold on the screen longer or less, and how fast you want it to go away. But basically that's the whole effect. Simple as that. So I did feel it was holding on the screen a little bit more, so I shortened it up a little bit. There's a little gap there. I'll just pull that in, and I'll just trim this down too, since I don't need it going out that far. I'll just trim it to there. Now if we watch it, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's good. Bong, and that's it. It's really as simple as that. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you enjoy these kind of videos, please subscribe. We don't make any money off of that, and that's so we can continue to bring you ad-free videos. Thank you very much, and have a great day.